Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Thought I'd do a quick morning video today to bring you up to date on the severe weather threat across the valley today. I do think the threat is a little higher than yesterday, particularly south and east of Youngstown. I'll show you why in just a second. But generally speaking, a broad overview here. First of all, we're in the yellow shading today. That means we're kind of in an enhanced risk area. The green shading is just a general thunderstorm, pop-up summertime variety area. But where we have a yellow shading here, that's where there is a higher than average risk of some type of severe weather today. And a quick reminder, a severe thunderstorm defined as a storm that produces hail 1 inch or larger, wind gusts in excess of 58 miles per hour, or a tornado. But any of those things will qualify as a severe thunderstorm. As far as the odds today of a few things, here's the risk of a tornado today within 25 miles of any location. You'll notice that we're in this brown area here. The green area is a 2% contour. The brown area is 5%. So we're not talking about, an 80% chance of a tornado or anything like that. But a 5% hatched, area like this is not something we see all that often in our part of the country, a handful of times each season, and that extends basically from Youngstown east. You notice the heart of it is in north central PA and up towards the Finger Lakes in New York, but it does come down and clips us here in northeast Ohio. So a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any location in that area today. By far and away the highest risk, the type of severe weather we're most concerned about today, particularly south and east of Youngstown, is wind. We are in the 30% contour here, where you see the red shading throughout eastern Ohio, all of western Pennsylvania, with, again, the heart of it being basically west central PA and then down into the lower Ohio River Valley. So these storms will have an easy time producing some real gusty winds once they get going. So wind is the number one concern. And then a secondary concern is hail. We're in the 15% area here throughout the viewing area. So, we're going to rank the concerns here. Gusty, strong winds, perhaps damaging winds, followed by probably flash flooding. These storms could produce a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And then hail. And then at the bottom is a tornado risk. It's usually at the bottom. It's the lowest percent chance of occurring. But the chance is not zero of a tornado across the area today. In fact, within 25 miles of any location, generally speaking, it's about 5%. So those are the concerns today. Now let's zone in or zero in on what's going on. This is the radar at 8:30 this morning. No severe weather out there this morning, but we've got a pretty good cluster of storms out here in western Ohio around Lima, and a few more storms extending back into Indiana. And the cloud cover, this is one thing that's going in our favor. The more clouds we see, the less unstable the atmosphere can become, and the lower the chances of severe weather are. So we're rooting for the clouds today. There's a lot of storm enthusiasts and weather enthusiasts that root for storms, and that's easy to do, and I can get like that sometimes as well. But you got to keep in mind that when we're talking about a potential severe weather day, that means there is the potential for damage to life and property, and we don't want that. So you got to be a little bit careful about rooting for storms. But nonetheless, the clouds are a good thing for us since we are rooting against the storms today. So the more clouds, the better. But nonetheless, that's the way the radar looks now. Let's go into the future now. I'm going to bring up the latest high-resolution rapid refresh model hot off the presses here, and fast forward a couple of hours. Start this at about 10 a.m. This is, it looks a little overdone to me as usual with this model, but it's not doing a bad job, I think, here at 10 a.m. Here's 11 a.m. Notice the valley's still dry right through 11 a.m., but things are building off to the west. This is mostly still west of I-71 at 11 a.m. Here's noon. That initial cluster I showed you near Lima probably, tries to head northeast, but what we're more concerned about is storms forming kind of on the flank of that down to the south. This is where storms could start to get pretty feisty around midday, I think, starting maybe close to Mansfield, heading down towards Columbus, Cincinnati, Xenia, Worthington, places like that. So that's noon, and then here's 1 p.m. And this is when I suspect by this time we're going to have some sort of a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch out for kind of something like this, is my guess. Because this is, we're getting into the warmest part of the day. If there is a little sun that works in, these are the storms at 1 p.m., this line right here, that could really mean some business. So that's 1 p.m. Here's 2 p.m. That main line appears to be pushing into western Pennsylvania now. And then the question for us is, after, say, 2 o'clock, are we out of the woods or not? I'm not sure of the answer to that just yet. I'll show you why. Here's 3 o'clock. Again, notice pretty beefy line heading into west central PA. Some big storms maybe up towards Erie and out over the lake. Here's 4 o'clock this afternoon. You'll notice that easily the most severe weather is now off to our east. Not much going on around here, and my suspicion is that these midday storms are going to kind of suck some of the energy out of the atmosphere, and that severe weather isn't all that likely again towards the end of the afternoon. But I'm not 100% certain on that. If we do get some breaks of sun in the wake of that midday round, anything that does try to pop up could be kind of strong, but it will be very spotty. Most locations will get some rain and some thunder during midday and early afternoon. Fewer places will get rain and thunder later today, but I can't rule out that later today any of those little spotty storms get pretty strong again. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. Not sure of the answer to that just yet. Now, we're getting close to sunset here. Here's 8 o'clock this evening, and by this point, the threat should be just about over. So, okay, quick review. Probably the highest risk of severe weather across our area today will be early this afternoon, or maybe even starting very late this morning, towards noon. Once we get past about 2 o'clock, the highest threat's probably shifting east of us. It's probably closer to Pittsburgh and over towards Du Bois and up towards Buffalo. Then we'll just have to see what happens later this afternoon. Any stray activity later this afternoon could turn kind of strong, but it's going to be stray. Most of us will get some wet weather, it looks like, midday, early afternoon. We'll keep you updated on social media. Jess has you covered on the TV side at midday today, and we'll have a regular Weather Geek video posted around mid-afternoon.